Hello everyone, I'm Colin, and today I'm back with another episode of tips and tricks sent in by subscribers just like you. So lots of really cool things today, but I want to remind you, if you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to do that or follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Let's get started. Here's a tip from Juan. He says if you're scribing lines on wood, one of the best things you can do to make those lines stand out is to fill them with chalk. And you can do that a couple of ways. You can scribe the lines like that and see how they stand out. The other thing that you can do, depending on the wood that you're using, you can actually make some sawdust with some sandpaper and just scribe it on that way, and you can see that it works either way. The other thing you can do is when you're on white wood like that, it still works fine. You'll be able to see that line standing out. This tip is from Alan, and as we all know here in North America, all of the plugins have a wide side and a narrow side, and they won't go in if you put them in the wrong way. What he suggests is putting a dab of white paint on there. Now, I didn't have white paint. I went down to the dollar store and I got this Models paint, and I picked yellow. And this is an enamel paint, so it'll stay on there forever. And now, every time I pick up that plug, a quick glance of that will tell me which is the wide blade on there. That's a great idea. Thanks, Alan. This tip is from Moore, and what he's reminding us of is a very old painter's trick, and that is to take a screwdriver and in the trough here on your paint cans, if you drive a hole, and I'm not going to do that, what you can do then, all of the material, in this case it's varathane, and you can see it's pretty watery, anything that gathers in here, it will all run back inside the can. So it reduces the mess and it saves you material. Now, you can only do that when you're using the entire or almost the entire can, because as soon as you put a hole in there and you want to put the lid back on, there's a risk that now you're going to be getting air into your can, because sometimes when you make that hole, it isn't covered by the lip here. So you'll have to be careful of that. You'll want to watch for that so that you don't ruin material. You don't put a hole in when you've still got almost a full can of material. So thanks, Moore. That's a really good painter's tip, and I've known about that for years, but I've forgotten it until you mentioned it again. Now, this tip comes from Mama C, and Mama C's tip is that she uses water to cool off her bits. Now, she didn't tell me whether she's referring to router bits or drill bits, and it's a topic I haven't covered, so I'm going to do that today. Now, in router bits, there's basically two kinds. There is pure carbide, and that's a pure carbide bit. There are also steel bits with carbide embedded on them, and that's an example of that kind of a bit. Neither one of these bits need to be cooled down, especially the pure carbide. You will never get that bit hot enough that you have to cool it down. You can use a blowtorch on that, and it will still remain sharp. That's why we have carbide. The same thing with this one. Doubtful that you will ever need to use any kind of water to cool that down. That bit with the carbide on there, the steel will heat up and get very hot, but the carbide will not. It will not affect the sharpness of the carbide. Now, drill bits is another matter, and basically there's more, but there's basically two kinds of drill bits, and this one is what they call a titanium coated drill bit. It's just a hardened steel with a titanium coating. Apparently they're supposed to last longer. I have yet to find that, but anyway, that's another story. This bit, you do definitely need to cool this down, especially if you're drilling into metal or doing a lot of drill holes. You will need to cool this bit down between holes, or whenever you can see heat or steam coming off the bit. You will need to cool that bit down. It's not necessary to use ice water. Just ordinary tap cold tap water, but you do whatever it is, you need to leave it in there for a few moments because you need to make sure the drill bit gets cooled down all the way. You can't just dunk it in and take it out. You need to leave it in there for a few moments. This other bit is what they call a cobalt. It has a much higher threshold for heat. It's still good to cool these down, but you'll get a lot more life out of them. You'll get 3 or 4 or 5 times the life out of a cobalt bit than you will a steel bit, and that's because the material in it has a higher heat threshold, but still a good idea to cool those down. So thanks, Mama C. That was a good topic to go over. This next tip is from Thomas from Berlin, and it's lovely to have Europeans contributing to our tips and tricks here. What Thomas suggests is if you're doing a project and at the bottom of the base, very often we have material that will sort of run down, and it will often collect in the bottom there. And what he suggests is taking a plastic straw and cutting it in the shape of a teardrop. And you can see that I've kind of done that, and then you run that material and it will get right into the very bottom of that sort of crook in there, and you can run that along in the material. It's amazing. It just wicks right up inside the straw, and you can run along like that and take off excess material. Now, the other thing that's fascinating with this is in most cases where I've actually done this, the material that you take away, it sort of gets filled up to a small degree by the base and by the top, so it actually fills that area in. So I don't think you can take too much off. I guess it will depend on the material, but it just does a great job, and it stops that big globby material buildup at the bottom of your projects down there. So that's a great tip. Thanks, Thomas. This next tip is from Dennis, and Dennis has a solution to help us keep our wood filler fresh. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you will know that wood filler and I have an uneasy relationship. Basically, we try and avoid one another, but there are still times when I need to use a little bit of it. And these containers, these plastic containers, all plastic containers, allow moisture to transfer back and forth, and usually it's from the inside out. And what that means is all of these, anything with a fluid in here will wick out, and becomes this material inside becomes harder. And Dennis says that if you put this into a freezer bag, and freezer bags have a much thicker plastic, so now you have multiple layers of plastic here that it needs to try, the air needs to wick through, or the moisture needs to wick through, then the best thing is to use a little straw and to suck all of the moisture out of there that you can, and keep that wrapped up tight like that, and that will preserve your wood filler, give you much better life out of your wood filler in terms of longevity. So thanks, Dennis. That's a really good tip. Well, that concludes my video for today. I want to thank everybody who sends these in. It's just great getting all these emails of people's ideas and tricks, and for me to make videos out of them and share them with everybody, and that's kind of what it's all about. So I'm Colin for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.